Oh, back now on Triad Today. Almost time for the Roundtable. Want to hold up this Business North Carolina magazine. Has a great article about Burlington written by the great Ogi Overman, who I just happen to have sitting next to me on the right, but always the political left. Ogi Overman, the great journalist. Next to him, the great attorney, great community servant, great athlete, David Daggett. We're out of time. I just used up a lot of time. And David Plyner, my friend of many years, county commissioner and broadcaster. Guys, let's get started. President Obama and Governor McCrory now suing each other over the so-called bathroom bill, although there's a lot more to it than that, I know. How long is this going to drag out, guys? Ogie?
Long time.
Past the election?
I think until the courts decide. Probably the Second Circuit Court of Appeals will make the decision.
Mr. Attorney.
Well, the problem is both sides tried to issue a fiat. And so now you're in a match that nobody's going to win until it gets resolved outside of those two.
It's going to be a long time?
It's going to be a long time.
David?
I think what he said is correct, and what's going to happen is we, the taxpayers, you, the taxpayers, are going to spend a lot of money over something that really doesn't make an awful lot of sense.
Speaking of the president, Mr. Obama wants to make, I think this is a good idea, Mr. Obama wants to make Election Day into a national holiday to make it easier for people to vote. Good idea or bad idea? Ogie?
I've been saying it for years and years. Absolutely great idea.
Think it's good?
Yes.
Our right to vote is one of our most fundamental and valuable rights. Absolutely.
So you think it should be celebrated?
Absolutely.
David?
With fireworks.
Good. You know, there are business people that are against that, though, saying that it's a down day. Anybody want to comment on that?
Well, their businesses are open on Sunday, so, I mean, you can leave it up to the businesses to stay open or closed.
Right. Billionaire Warren Buffett says who I think has ownership of the two big newspapers here, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Billionaire Warren Buffett says the economy is headed in the right direction and that it doesn't really matter who gets elected president. Agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, the economy does kind of have a life of its own, but it really does matter who gets elected. It really does.
David?
It does matter. The one deceiving factor is the economy kind of lags the politics, so it comes behind.
Right.
So what we do today affects us in the future.
Yeah, the old story about Hoover not really being responsible for the Great Depression.
Exactly.
But David?
I would follow the Oracle of Omaha.
You're talking about Marlon Perkins? I don't know what that meant. We'll have a discussion later on YouTube or whatever they say. Virginia's Democratic governor is planning to restore voting rights to over 200,000 felons just in time for the November election. The governor, Terry McAuliffe, is a good friend of Hillary Clinton, and it's kind of a ploy to get her to beat Donald Trump in the state of Virginia. I get that. But do you think felons should be allowed to vote, Ogie?
Well, in the bigger picture, then it looks like errant politics. It really does. But I kind of think that if you're going to try to cut the recidivist rate for ex-cons, as we're not supposed to say now,
right.
I do think that's a way to do it.
You're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
David?
I think there should be guidelines and qualifications to earn the right to vote back, not a sweeping change.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You can give an example of something you
Well,
think
an
like?
example is that you have been a productive member of society for X period of years, maybe 5 years.
Good idea.
Then you get that right
Almost
back.
a probationary thing.
Almost a probationary period.
David?
The nice thing about being in the third seat on this program is I agree with both of these fellows.
No, you have to, I'm sorry, you have to say something different just to say it, Dave.
It's awful. No,
Okay, thanks. We now have that. The Pop Warner Football Organization says it will no longer allow kickoffs in the games involving kids 10 and under. Seriously, they say this will help prevent head injuries. Good idea, or are they just overreaching? Okay.
You know what? They're going to have to do something about concussions, but kickoff, that's a stopgap measure. Really, the helmets, it's in the helmets themselves that they're going to have to make the change.
David, you deal with this on a lot different level with injuries, unfortunately, and whatever. You have a...
Well, and I deal with the folks at the Children's Institute here in town for pediatric trauma, and the highest speed during a football game happens during the kickoff. I think until we have more research and more information, this is a good stopgap measure until we have more information.
Well, David, a lot of parents are saying they don't want their kids to play football at all. Is this going to maybe bring them back, or what do you think?
anything that would stop concussions or injuries to children, I'm all for.
Speaking of athletics, a number of health organizations are asking that the Summer Olympics in Rio be canceled. You guys know already that the water is toxic down there. And now the doctors fear that the Zika virus is going to go wild with 500,000 people exploding into that country. Should the Olympics be canceled, Ogie?
Honestly, I'm getting a little worried, and I love the Olympics. I just love it. But, I mean, even the president is getting impeached. I mean, they've got major turmoil down there. I don't know. I really don't.
Cancel it, David?
Yeah,
I know
don't-
you're a really
I
avid
don't
athlete.
think so. This will date me a little bit. I had a good friend qualify for the 1980 Olympics when we boycotted. And it really, you had people who focused their whole life on that one event. I don't think you can cancel it. I think you have to deal with the turmoil and the uproar that's going on and somehow get through it.
Health risk, David.
Too much money involved. And with that in mind, then you've got to say to yourself, what would I do? I wouldn't go, just because it's a risk I wouldn't want to take.
You wouldn't go if you were an athlete or a coach.
That's correct.
But would you cancel it?
No.
Very quickly, a lot of athletes are saying it helps them if they smoke marijuana before their warm-ups. Yes or no, Ogie, quickly?
It never helped me at all. I washed out in the 8th
David.
grade.
No.
David.
I agree.
Finally,
No.
finally, London, I knew that'd get you, Ogie. Finally, London officials announced that the city's about to open its first all-nude restaurant, guys, where both patrons and staff are naked. Guys, would you eat at a nude restaurant? Ogie.
I am so there. I am so there.
You've already been
I would
there.
work there.
You've already been there, David.
If Ogie's there, I'm not there.
David,
I actually ate at one at Key West.
really?
Yes, I sure did.
Can we hear about it later?
Good food.
Yeah, good food. Well, that's all the time we have, fortunately, or I'm afraid of what Dave might say. Oh, except for this. As part of a protest to save forest in Mexico, a young Peruvian man last week married a 1,000-year-old cypress tree. After the wedding ceremony, the man kissed the tree bride, which measures 140 feet in diameter. Asked if their age difference concerns him, the man said, no, but I hope her middle doesn't keep spreading. It's a sexist thing, but he was worried about it being, not being able to hug her. Did you get the...
A little weird there, Jim. Getting out there, baby.
You're calling me weird.
Getting out there, Tad.
Ogie called me weird. I like to mark the day that this happened. For all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you.